What's up YouTube? Happy Chinese New Year! This year is actually pretty special because it is the beginning of a new decade, and from a Chinese zodiac standpoint, we're also at the beginning of a cycle. This year is the year of mouse or year of rat, and as you can see, I searched everywhere in my home trying to find some resemblance of a mouse. And as always, I'll begin by teaching you guys a little bit about the Chinese tradition during the New Year period. So usually during the Chinese New Year, people like to write what we call a spring couplet. It's literally a pair of poetry that are written vertically on two pieces of paper, and we can hand these either at the front of the door or we can hand them inside our home. And it's really meant to convey certain happy meaning and happy wish for the coming year, and it's meant to add to the festivity. Of course, I'm not going to write 2 rows of gibberish that you guys cannot understand, right? I'd rather to hand something that you guys can really appreciate. So instead, I got this. Give me 1 second. Ta-da! This is it. Instead of normal traditional couplets, I got myself a pair of official tournament store banners. I think they are really cool, they match perfectly, and I really like the art that are on them. Super cute. So I hope you enjoy them as well. And in addition to the spring couplets, I would also like to teach you a line, and that is Gong Hei Fa Chai. You might have heard this from time to time when people wish each other Happy Chinese New Year. But what you might not have realized is that this line actually does not mean Happy New Year. What it really means is actually, I hope you get rich. I hope you become more wealthy. That is literally how Chinese people greet each other. Instead of wishing each other Happy New Year, they just wish each other wealth and more happiness from the money. Why is that? Because, guess what? We are greedy. Just like most other human beings, Chinese people are very greedy. They love money, right? And that actually transitions perfectly into our topic today, because today we would like to really walk you guys over this notorious lawsuit between Konami and the Upper Deck Entertainment, and this whole thing started because of greed. Let's take a look.
Turn around, cats got their hands out, wanting something from it. I ain't got it, so you can't get it. Let's leave it at that, cause I ain't get it. Hit it with full strength. I'm a jail nigga, so I think the world like a girl and do a plan. You against me against you. Whatever, whenever, nigga, fuck you gon' do. Get out the way, get out the way, bitch, get out the way. Get out the way, get out the way, bitch, get out the way. Get out the way, get out the way, bitch, get out the way. Get out the way, get out the way, bitch, get out the way.
Alright, stop. Pajama time. Come here, little kitties, on my lap. Guess who's back with a brand new rap? And I don't mean rap as in a new case of child molestation accusation. No worries, what else could I possibly do to make noise? I done touched on everything but little boys.
낮에는 따사로운 인간적인 여자 커피 한 잔에 여유를 아는 품격 있는 여자 밤이 오면 심장이 뜨거워지는 여자 그런 반전 있는 여자
Don't stop. Yo, Kelly, it's shit like that. We gon' party like this shit like that.
here it is. These are the 9 rare cards that were presented in the Statement of Uncontroverted Facts to the Central District Court of California. There were 2 ultimate rares, 1 super, 1 ultra, and 5 rares coming from different sets. It is actually pretty random, but these are the only 9 cards that are proven to be Upper Deck counterfeits. And here's a photo of the 9 cards. People will know some or even all of them, but people never try to classify them. So today I'm going to show you how I group these 9 cards into 2 categories. The 2 ultimate rares are category A, and everything else is category B. And they're categorized based on how you can tell that they are counterfeits. First, if you look at category A, you can see that even though the 2 cards looks very identical, same coloring, same pattern, because they had the exact same design templates, one of the most easy tell on the counterfeit is that these cards are ultimate rares, they have the first edition text, but the Anubis is silver. And we all know that all the first edition cards should have a golden Anubis. But in addition to the silver Anubis, another tell on these cards is that they actually have what I would like to call an enhanced multi-foil pattern. Here's a video to show you the difference. As you can see on the normal authentic card, the early foil patterns are actually not that strong. However, if you go to the counterfeits, then all of a sudden the pattern becomes very obvious, very 3D, very realistic. So like to me, these are actually enhanced. However, they were not the official pattern that were used for Yu-Gi-Oh cards. The exact same problem can be seen on the Aqua Neos as well. As you can see even in the photo, the multi-foil on the right actually seems significantly stronger. You can see the rays coming out of the back of the hero. So that's category A. Like in my view, that's the 2 easy way that you can tell the category A, is counterfeit. Now moving on to the category B. First, I'm going to use the ultra rare, the Dread Master. And same as before, they also have this issue where the card is first edition and the Anubis is silver. However, in the case of category B, the silver Anubis has been turned sideways, as you can see in this enlarged photo on the side here. So this, as far as I know, are only known to happen to the Upper Deck counterfeits. There's never been a real, authentic Yu-Gi-Oh card that had this type of misprint. So all the 7 cards in the category B have this issue. And in addition to the Anubis, another easy way to tell is that if you look at all the text that are printed on the bottom half of the card, they're much thicker. And here I'm going to show you an example using the rare cards from the McDonald's set as well. I also classify these as category B because if you look at the Anubis, it's also silver and sideways, and at the same time their text boxes are also much thicker. So there's one thing that I really want to clarify. Not all first edition ultimate rare cards with a silver Anubis is considered an Upper Deck counterfeit. For example, here I have 3 cards from the SOI, where these are the Lord of Phantasm, the Raphael. And on the left, I have a normal first edition with a golden eye. In the middle, I have a English edition with a silver eye, which also has a first edition text. And on the right side, I have a German first edition ulti-rare with a silver eye as well. The Upper Deck counterfeit cards were never known to be making any cards with non-English language as well, so I do not believe that these are counterfeits. And so far, I was not able to find any legal documents stating that these are counterfeits as well. And to further prove my points, just to show you that how these doesn't really fit into category A or B, you can see that first of all the text on them are pretty much the same font and same thickness. There's no darker bolded text. And here's also a video to show you that all 3 copies of these cards have the same looking ulti pattern on them. You do not see the strong, super enhanced 3D ulti foil pattern on any of the 3 cards. So that's why, in my opinion, I do not believe that these are Upper Deck counterfeits. Alright, that's it for the history lesson. Hopefully that clarifies a few things. But we're not done yet. The title of this video is Counterfeit Misprint. And who said that when you're making counterfeits, you cannot make some printing mistakes? So next, I'm going to show you a few things that they really messed up while printing this 500,000 counterfeit cards. First up, we have the misprints on the Ulti Flame Wingman. On the left side, I have a normal counterfeit just as a comparison. And on the right, I have a shifted name as well as shifted Anubis misprint. To me, this is actually much cooler than the normal shifted name because I think it's actually more rare. Next, I have a similar misprint, and this is on the Aqua Neos, also shifted name as well as shifted Anubis. The shift is a little less, but it's pretty cool nevertheless to me. Well, you might ask, what's cooler than a slightly shifted name? Well, how about a shifted name as well as the original name? So next, I have this double name Aqua Neos. this is probably the coolest UDE Counterfeit Misprint that I have. If you look closely, the card on the right also have the Anubis double stamped, but the second one didn't really stick, only left a little edge there. Nevertheless, I really like this card. But as cool as this card might be, this actually is not the coolest UDE Counterfeit Misprint that I'm aware of. Next photo is not mine, but this is definitely the coolest UDE Counterfeit Misprint that I know. On this card, it's the Aqua Neos, but with the foil of the Flame Wingman printed upside down. Man, this card is so awesome. It showed up on eBay a while ago, and I don't think anybody actually bought it, so it's still out there somewhere. If you know who owns this copy, or if you have one that is similar, I would really love to see a photo. Please send them my way. So even though I don't have this one, I also do have some cool counterfeit misprint myself as well. On the next, I'm going to show you a category of these cards that I would like to call the frigging name everywhere misprint. Why do I call that? Well, if you look at this card on the right closely, you will notice that in addition to its normal name on top, it also has the name of the electron printed on the bottom. And if you look very closely, it's not even printed once, it's actually double stamped as well. So that's like 3 names printed on the same card. Well, guess what? If you flip this card over, there's even more. You can see the electron as well as the Miss body is printed once more on the back. So that's like 6 names on the same card, front and back. That's why I call this the freaking name everywhere misprint. And as far as I know, this kind of misprint only happened to the McDonald's sets. I've never seen another version out there that have so many names printed on so many part of its cards. So that's the only one that I know. And this Miss body is actually pretty rare as well. Next, I have the Flute of Summoning Kuriboh, and also, as you can see, I tried to get a photo with the with the title reflecting. That's why the right part of the card has a big light shining on it. But in addition to the name, the normal name, which is kind of like, I don't know if it's triple or quadruple stamped on top, this card also has the White Horned Dragon on it as well. And then just like the Miss body, if you turn it around, you'll see a few more names on the back. Man, I absolutely love this misprint. It took me many months to convince a good friend of mine to finally sell this card to me. So one of my treasured misprints for sure. Next, I have the Mud Ball Man, which is a similar kind of misprint. This one only has the name printed on top, nothing in the middle of the body, but this name on top is stamped at least 3 times, if not more. They're just so close together, it's really hard to tell exactly how many times. And very similarly, if you flip this around, it also has the Mud Ball Man as well as the White Horned Dragon name printed on the back as well. So all of these cards have like 4 or 5 names printed on the same card. I can't even imagine what exactly happened in the printing process. It's gotta be the same sheets that's being jammed into the machine or stored to the same printing machine back and forth, different angles, different entry points to finally get something like this. So it must be a pretty messy printing process. And lastly, here I have this White Horned Dragon. I actually have 3 copies of it, and I want to show you them at the same time, because what's important to note that even for the same card, the misprint of the name can actually happen in different spots. If you look at the misprint on the upper right corner, you will notice that the White Horned Dragon name itself is stamped like 2 times in its original spot, and then the Kuriboh name is stamped once on the bottom. And if you look at the 2 bottom cards, it seems as if they have the same name stamped in the same location, but then on the left side, the White Horned Dragon was only stamped once, while the Flute of Summoning Kuriboh was stamped twice, while on the right side, the card is exactly the opposite. The White Horned Dragon was stamped twice, while the Kuriboh was only stamped once. And the same thing, if you turn them around, you will notice that the name on the back can also placed in different spot as well. So I just want to show you these cards at the same time, just to show that how the same card can have the name stamped all over the different spots as well. I've seen many copies of these cards on the internet, and they all seem to have the name stamped in funny places. So I hope you really enjoyed these. These are absolutely my favorite kind of misprint out of these counterfeit misprints, and I am strongly convinced that there must be a copy of this type of misprint out there for the Electrum, because that's the last McDonald's card that has a counterfeit version. If you have seen one, I would really love to trade for it, or at the very least, I would really love to see a photo. Okay, that's it. That's the story as I know it. In the future, if you ever have another friend who is confused about the whole event, hopefully this video will come in handy for you as well. And now, it is that time of the year again. It is my annual giveaway! And this year, to link the gift to the theme of greediness, I've decided to do something a little unique. Instead of giving away a card, This year, I'll be giving away this beautiful Pot of Greed sculpture. This is actually handcrafted by my friend and RT collectors, and as you can see, the details on this thing is amazing. And what is even more interesting is that even though the Pot of Greed is supposed to represent greediness and evil, this particular item actually represents something very noble. What happened is my friend, they actually crafted a whole batch of these. They sold them online, and then they used the proceeds to buy toys and gifts for children who are really poor and live in the rural area. As you can see from the photos, these gifts were already delivered to the children during the new year, and honestly, seeing how happy they are really just made my day. This is a very noble cause, that's why I really support them, and this year I'll be giving away up to 2 Pot of Greeds. The rules are very simple, even simpler than last year. 1, you need to be a subscriber to my channel, and 2, you need to leave a comment in my video. It could be about anything. It could be about misprints or something really interesting that you heard about or did or know during this really chaotic period. This comment will basically act as your entry to my video, to my draw, and then it will be 1 entry per person. And lastly, I'll keep this entry open for 2 weeks, so that means I'll be closing the entry on the midnight of February 7th. After that, I will make a video to show who is the winner. That's it. Very simple, right? Well, that's it. Happy New Year to you guys, and I really hope that you will be lucky enough to own this beautiful masterpiece. And I'll see you guys next time.
Yeah, you can have these fireworks I confiscated. Some Chinese people claim they were celebrating New Year's in February.
Oh, yeah. Those guys and their crazy scams.
Good food, though.